So the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra has been a fan favorite for most of 2024. Now we have the flipping form factor of basically an S line phone, S24 and the Z Flip 6. And we're going to see which one comes out on top in this speed test. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. In this episode, we do have two devices, different form factors, but similar CPUs. Let's begin with a boot up test in 3, 2, go. Now these are both Samsung Galaxy phones, both Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, both have 12 gigabytes of RAM on board. I would like to see 16 on the next models, but these right here have 12 gigs of RAM, which is enough for Galaxy AI. And we'll see which one can get to the home screen first. This one going to be on the cover screen. I want to leave it like this just because it looks cool like that, folded up. And it looks like the Z Flip 6 was actually into the phone first over the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. So that was interesting, even though this has the same CPU and the same RAM and the same software basically on both phones. Okay, so when it comes to unlocking these phones with the S24 Ultra, we're just going to look right at it. And it should go right in. Camera was blocking my angle a little bit, but there you go. You could see goes right in, no problem. Also, in-display fingerprint sensor, which I definitely like because you could just kind of unlock it with the screen off. Overall, unlocking this phone is very fast and definitely faster than some of the competition. I'm talking about Apple when I say that. The OnePlus phone is pretty fast to unlock as well. But over here, you can actually unlock it with the face for the cover screen if you want to use that. Also, you can unlock it on the cover screen with the fingerprint sensor. In addition to that, if you want to get into the inner display here, you can also use the face unlock right there. And you can also use the fingerprint sensor. So just fun. It's just fun. There's so many different ways to get in, both the cover screen and the inner display here. Unlike the S24 Ultra, though, it is a hardware-based fingerprint sensor, which I tend to prefer for accuracy, but I think the in-display feels a little bit cooler to use. This feels a little bit like an older style of technology, but still, it definitely works very well. So both of them probably equally as fast when it comes to biometrics. All right, so from the pure software perspective, both of them very fast this year. I've been very impressed with how fast Samsung phones have been this year. And some people still come in my comments and say, oh, wait a couple years till it slows down. Listen, that's not, yeah, that was my hater's voice. That's not going to happen. This is not 2004. Like, these are Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 CPUs. They're 4 nanometer. They have 12 gigs of RAM. Ask some people in the comments. They'll tell you my S22 performs fine. My S21 performs fine. There's no issue with it. And those phones are several years old. So yeah, no issues there. You can see that the phone itself definitely performs very well here in terms of the Samsung S24 Ultra. Let's go over here to the Z Flip 6. I was going to call it S phone. Z Flip 6 over here. You can see also very smooth. I like the color accuracy of the screen on the Z Flip 6, but it's definitely a more narrow aspect ratio and it feels like tall and narrow. Definitely not my cup of tea when it comes to like reading and stuff. Like, definitely if you're reading like a book or something, it just feels kind of narrow, or an article. But definitely a great usage for the portability factor of the phone, and that is just so satisfying right there. But generally, scrolling both operating system, they're the same thing, and they're both very smooth and fast to navigate around very well. Before we get in the app test, I want to show you that they're both on the standard performance profile. And under the software updates, this is the latest for both here. The One UI 6.1 with the August security patch. And then over here, 6.1.1. With this one does have the June security patch. Still haven't got an update since that one for the Z Flip 6. So that's what we're rocking out with here in this app test. All right, guys, so everything is closed out for both phones, as you can see. And let's go ahead and begin with calendar. And you could see basically the same. Of course, in these stock apps, there's not going to be much difference. Timer, stopwatch, world clock, alarm. And we'll go into calculator. And you could see how much wider the display is. The calculator looks even spread out here. But that portability factor is definitely useful on the Z Flip 6 when you're out and about. That narrow display feels more comfortable. Also, the ability to fold it. Let's go into Samsung News. And you could see pretty much the same. Scrolling wise, both very good. They could use a little smoothness though. This looks a little like it's bouncing a little on the left. Same on the right. It looks like there's just a little I don't know, up and down bounce. I wish it was a slightly smoother there. Let's go into Play Store. That looked like the Z Flip 6, if I'm not mistaken. We'll go to apps. That was the right. We'll go to offers. That was the left. So definitely not a massive difference. Let's click the same thing here. And you could see pretty much the same. We'll go on Instagram. That was faster on the left. And we'll go ahead and click one of my posts. Pretty much the same. However, yeah, not a major difference. Just that width of the panel makes content consumption going to be preferred differently. We'll swipe up out of here. We'll go into X, or formerly known as Twitter. And I think that was the left. I could be wrong. Let's go to profile. And you could see right there. But even though the S24 Ultra and this phone is similar speed, the S24 Ultra still feels more done, polished. I think it's because these having a crease, having a plastic inner display. While I like the portability, this just feels more sturdy on the left. Let's go ahead and swipe out of there. And that's because it is, but it definitely really feels that way. Let's go on to Amazon. Which one was that? Did you guys see which one that one was? Let's go on the Jetpack Joyride. And here we should see one or the other pulling out. The anti-reflective coating or display here for the S24 Ultra is pretty game-changing too. It's pretty darn noticeable. Definitely has a lot of anti-glare. One of the easiest on the eyes I've seen all year, especially out of the Samsung line. Let's go into Subway Surfers. We also have very good PWM dimming on some OnePlus products as well. So Samsung catching up in terms of making the display a little more comfortable on the eye. Although if you like Samsung's more vivid, punchy, just colorful look, I think they nailed it on the Z Flip 6 as well as the Z Fold 6. So they listened to your complaints earlier this year with the tuning of the display. And the Z Flip 6 and Fold 6 are probably more in line with what you like and used to from Samsung. This anti-reflective coating display makes it look a little different. Some people think it looks a little washed out. I personally like it because it's easy on the eye. It really is. And here we are in Temple Run 2. This one's pretty close as well. And that was the Z Flip 6 actually. Let's hit play. It's nice to know though that the Z Flip 6 is catching up to the S line in performance, overall power. It's nearly the same, which is, well, I mean, it's expected. They do charge $1,000 for this now, so like $1,100. So Z Flip 6 is no cheap phone anymore. I mean, it never was a cheap phone, but it was under $1,000 before. They raised the price on it, which I'm not a fan of. But it is, that's what it costs now. So at least it's performing at the level of a top tier phone, which is good because you're not going to charge that much and not have it perform like a top tier phone. So Z Flip 6, definitely impressive for a flip phone. You can do basically everything on it, even though it's, you know, going to be more probably not used in this sense, like gaming and all that, but you can still do it if you want. And you can see, I think the S24 Ultra ahead. Yep, S24 Ultra pulls ahead in PUBG. So I wonder if the S24 Ultra will pull ahead in the benchmarking when we test the GPU and stuff like that. Let's go into Speed Test Net. And you'll see that was faster on the Z Flip 6. And we'll go into InShot. About the same. Had a little pop-up on the right. And we'll hit Geekbench 6. Pretty much equal. You can see the clock speeds here. Same clock speeds as well. That's why we're getting the same results. Let's go into 3D Mark. And that was almost the same, about maybe a little bit on the left. So overall, I would say these were basically neck and neck, with maybe a slight error from my finger making the difference. They looked about equal to me in almost everything. So you basically have an S24 Ultra flip phone over here on the right without the Ultra cameras. But other than that, and you don't have an S Pen either. You have to go to the Z Fold 6 for that. But other than that, performance-wise, app test-wise, pretty impressive for the Z Flip 6. Also very impressive for the S24 Ultra. Pretty darn impressive here with Samsung's performance. All right, so let's check the RAM management section here for the Galaxy S24 Ultra. See how it performs. So far, so good. We're going to go ahead and go like that. We're going to bring it out of there. We'll go to Tempo Run, Dead Trigger 2, Subway Surfers, Jetpack. We'll go into Amazon. That was me on the mistap. We'll go into Groupon. You could see, and these apps are held open too. You see as I scroll, they're not paused or anything like that. They are right where they were. Very good here and very expected here for the Samsung. So excellent performance there for the S24 Ultra. Let's take it on over here to the Z Flip 6. And I could tell you just picking it up, I like the comfort feel of this phone. It's got a lighter weight to it. I skipped one. It has a lighter weight to it, but it also feels pretty easy to hold. So for comfort and portability, picking the Z Flip all day over the Galaxy S24 Ultra. I keep missing these because the narrowness, you see how I hit Instagram, Twitter, I did that down here as well. The narrowness is making me click a little over. I'm just used to the wider display on the S24 Ultra. But you'll see, let me go over here, calculator and calendar. So I missed a couple, went in and out, it doesn't matter. You can see all of them definitely reloaded very well. So Z Flip 6, nice. And then you could do all that flip action, flex modes, all that stuff. Use the front camera or use the cameras here for selfies. I mean, it's got some cool, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been using both of these. This phone is more fun to use than the S24 Ultra, but it doesn't mean it's a better phone. It's definitely probably not all around a better phone. It just feels like more fun and more new and unique. All right, so let's go to Samsung.com on both phones. We're going to do some internet browsing here. You'll see that was faster on the left. We'll hit Z Flip 6. Faster on the left again. Let's go ahead and back it out. And let's scroll around. This is a pretty heavy website when it comes to a lot of images, a lot of stuff going on here. So it tests the performance pretty good. We'll go into, how about this one? This OLED display here. And you'll see, looks like the S24 Ultra is doing a better job at loading all these things up for some reason. But definitely not a major difference between both. That's what I really like about the Z Flip 6 is that it's portable. It's still kind of a big display, 6.7 inches. It's more narrow, but it still has like a power of a flagship phone, but still flips. Really like that about this device. So we have a final score here, and something interesting to note is that the S24 Ultra is finishing the Geekbench 6 test much faster than the Galaxy Z Flip 6, which might be telling us that the S24 Ultra has better heat management, less throttling maybe. 1853, 6196. Also, Samsung doesn't include DeX in the Z Flip 6 because it can't handle the heat of what DeX would do to the phone. So definitely, I think the S24 Ultra will sustain its performance a little bit better. And this is a good example of it. You can see a much lower single core score and a much lower multi-core score. So the king of performance is still the S24 Ultra and the Samsung lineup. Let's go ahead and check out 3D Mark. And here are your final Wildlife Extreme scores. You can see 4169 on the left, 3409, with a difference of 4 FPS in the frame rate. So the S24 Ultra scoring 89% better than the other devices and 76% better on the Z Flip 6. So the S24 Ultra is the more powerful device, as proven by those benchmarks, will push forward. In day-to-day apps, you've seen in the regular apps, it didn't do much different. But let's go ahead now and check the speed test. We're going to go see how it does in the Wi-Fi performance now. Right, so let's go ahead and begin with the S24 Ultra over here, and we'll see how it does in this speed test. This is one of the best phones on the market when it comes to Wi-Fi performance. I'm getting pretty low scores today. Maybe a lot of people are using the internet right now. But just over 285 on the down right now. And we do have 24 on the upload maybe. So that's about usual, but a lot of people must be using the internet right now. Let's see if Z Flip 6 blows us away or not. And we'll see here. We're getting around, okay. This is more usual for my Wi-Fi speed test. A little bit better here on the Z Flip 6. Way better actually on the download. As a matter of fact, I'm going to run this one again after the fact. Go ahead and close that one out. You'll see on the upload about the same. Let's see if the S24 Ultra was a fluke. We'll see if we can get a similar result to Z Flip 6 over there. I'm going to do this one more time once that's uploaded. Let's go ahead and go and see if that 284, whatever it was a fluke. Yeah, it was a fluke. So I'm rerunning it here. Wait a minute. Maybe it wasn't. Still a little bit lower here. I don't know what's going on with this. But I can say in general, I have been finding that the Samsung devices do better here than what I see on some other products out there when it comes to Wi-Fi, 5G. This kind of stuff is really good connectivity on these Samsung products. That's what I really like about these phones. People don't think about that a lot, but these phones as phones, they're really, really fast connectivity wise. And they have really good reliability in this area. They're one of the best out there when it comes to this stuff. Right, so let's go ahead and test the camera on my old school Nokia phone. 3, 2, go. And you can see, was that faster on the left? It definitely looked like it. Let me go ahead and rock it again. 3, 2, go. Okay, not a big difference. Again, way more zoom on the S24 Ultra. Shutter speed wise though, let's go back to the 1x zoom. Not a big difference, but the S24 Ultra has a way better camera. Like the sharpness, the quality, like this is the Samsung phone you want if you want the camera game to be the best. This one's average. It's really good consumer oriented, but if you want the more pro level camera, you'll want the S24 Ultra. If you want better selfies though, you'll want the Z Flip 6 because you could take that camera and you could bring it over to the cover screen. You can use the rear cameras to take cover screen selfies, and those look really, really sharp comparatively to like what you'll get on something like this. Of course, you can always turn it around, but then you can't see yourself. So I definitely like the Z Flip for that. Wrapping it up here, S24 Ultra is faster, has better heat management, more area to disperse the heat so it doesn't throttle. The Z Flip 6 feels warmer right now to the touch. It feels hotter actually. And this phone's just not as quick. It's close, even though it has the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 CPU, same RAM. It can definitely run all the Samsung stuff good, but when you're really pushing it, the S24 Ultra is still king. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you all in the next episode, and let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.